this is Professor Rad, and today we're going to be looking at calculators. Hooray! So first I'm going to apologize if the footage on this video is a little shaky because I'm using my phone and I don't have a super steady hand, but I couldn't really think of another way to do this. So this is the best we're going to do. So I have 3 calculators I'm showing here, but actually I think there's 7 that I'm going to walk through, plus my Google calculator. Which is pretty similar to the calculator on your phone, actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to describe a little bit about each of these calculators, and then we'll see how these calculators display answers that are in scientific notation. So you can check your calculator and see if you have the same one that I'm demoing. I'm going to put chapters in the description below, so you can just skip to whichever calculator is yours. But note that the colors of the calculators can vary. Like this one that's pink over here comes in all kinds of colors. Like I have a green one and a blue one somewhere. So I just happened to grab the pink one today. You can tell the make and model of your calculator by looking up at the top. So like here, this is the Casio, that's the company that makes it. And this model is the FX115MS. There we go. This one over here, this is the TI-30XS Multi-View. This one is also a TI, Texas Instruments calculator, and there's a light glare on it. Sorry about that. But this is the TI-30X2S, XIIS. I also have the TI-34, the TI-36, the Casio FX300ES Plus, and a graphing calculator, the TI-84 Plus. So again, I'll put chapters in this video so you can see. Just jump to whichever calculator is yours. If you have a different calculator, try and go with the company. So if you have a TI calculator, Texas Instruments, then looking at a couple of these might help. If you have a Casio, then looking at one of the Casios will help. So speaking of Casio, let's start out with the Casio calculators. But before we do that, to test the scientific notation on the calculators, what we're going to do is we're going to type in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 equals. And that's going to give us a really long number, really big number. So the calculator is going to want to display that in scientific notation. So this way we get to see at least what the calculator looks like when it gives an answer in scientific notation. Okay, so let's start out with the Casio FX115MS. So this is a calculator that's used in some statistics classes. It's an older model of the calculator. There's a 115ES or the 300ES or MS tend to be more popular now. But just so we can see how this one displays the answer. So you can see on that top line where it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times 9, 8, blah, blah, blah. So that's where I typed in the problem. So this calculator displays your problem that you typed in. And then we can see the answer is 1.219326311. And then I'm going to zoom in here, but try not to get too much shadow or glare. It's really hard. But there's a teeny tiny times 10. And then there's an exponent of 17. So that's how I know this answer is not 1.2, but this answer is going to be a real large number because of that times 10 to the 17. So this is my answer in scientific notation on a Casio FX115MS. This calculator is a Casio FX300ES Plus. This calculator also comes in tons of different colors. So the one I picked up happened to be blue, but your calculator might be a different color. So that's why you need to know like the name, like the company, and then the model of your calculator to make sure you have the right directions for it and stuff. So what I did on this one was I typed in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then hit equals. And this is the answer it gave me. So you can see the answer 1.219326311, and then you see that times 10 to the 17. So again, that's how I know this is in scientific notation, because we have that times 10 to the 17 power. So this is how this calculator displays answers in scientific notation. It looks pretty much like scientific notation, just the 10 is a little bit teeny tiny. This is the TI-30XS. On this calculator, this is from Texas Instruments calculator, so a different brand than the last two. And I did the same thing on this one. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then I hit enter. So on this calculator, the enter button, which is down here on the bottom right, that enter button is your equals button. So when I hit equals, it gave me this beautiful answer of 1.219326311. And then see that little star? So this calculator is using the star to represent multiplication. So that means times 10 to the 17. So this calculator is showing us scientific notation, pretty much how we would write it, except it's using that star instead of the X that we're used to seeing. So if you were writing this out on paper, you would use the normal X for your times. You wouldn't write down that star. It's just the symbol this calculator chose to use. This calculator is a Texas Instruments as well. It's the TI-30X2S or XIIS, depending on how you want to say it. This one is really common in my statistics classes, so you can see some of the buttons say things like data or statvar, so really useful in a statistics class. These come in all fun colors, so this one happens to be pink, but I think I mentioned before they come in like green or blue or all sorts of different colors. So this one I typed in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then I hit equals. And it gave me this answer of 1.219326311 times 10 to the 17th. So you can see over here on the right, I'm going to try to zoom in, but we'll see how that goes. It gets kind of shadowy here, but maybe you can see it. We've got that times 10 in the bottom corner, and there's the 17. So that's what's telling me this calculator is giving me a scientific notation answer. So yeah, so that's how this calculator displays answers that are in scientific notation. This is a TI-34. This is another Texas Instruments calculator, and I've typed in the same thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then I hit enter. So on this calculator, the enter button there on the bottom right, that's what you'll use for your equals button. And we can see it's given us our answer, 1.219326311 times 10 to the 17th. So this one looks pretty straightforward with its scientific notation. So it has that times 10 to the 17, just like we would write out on paper. This is a Texas Instruments TI-36X Pro calculator. So this one is a little bit fancier. It's a little bit on the pricier side. So if you're not doing any like fancy math, you don't need this one. But if you happen to have this one, it's a fine one to use. So I've typed in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then on this calculator, I'm going to hit enter. So in the bottom right, oh, it's very shadowy there, enter. In the bottom right, we're going to hit that instead of equals on this calculator. And we can see it gave me my answer in scientific notation. Now the fancier calculators tend to do scientific notation in a little bit of a stranger way. So we start out like normal with that big long decimal, 1.219326311, and then there's a capital E 17. So the E is standing in for times 10 to the power of. So I need to know when I see that E on this calculator that it's really telling me this is a scientific notation answer. And my answer is 1.219326311 times 10 to the power of 17. So be careful with this one. You don't want to write E on your paper. You want to write down times 10 to the 17th power. Or write the answer in standard form by moving the decimal point 17 places to the right, if that's what you've been asked to do. This calculator is a graphing calculator. If you have one of these calculators, they're totally fine to use, but they are way more powerful than you will need them to be for an arithmetic course. So if your plan is to take a course that's going to require a lot of math in the future, then you might want to invest in one of these. These tend to be pretty expensive because they do a lot. But if you're just like, nah, I just need to know the basics, you probably won't need a calculator like this one. You can get one of the scientific calculators that I was showing earlier. But this one, mine happens to be red because I wanted the red calculator, but they come in lots of different colors as well. This is a TI-84 Plus CE. I think the CE stands for something like Color Edition. That just means the screen that it's displaying stuff on has colors. Other screens are black and white. So if you have the TI-84 Plus, the TI-84 Plus CE, if you have a TI-83, that will also work the same way as one of these. So if I look at the screen on this one, you can see I typed in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then I hit the enter button. So on this calculator, enter is in the bottom right, and that's what you'll press for equals. And we can see it gave us this answer of 1.219326.311E17. The screen just dimmed. Yeah, it did. All right, so that E17 just means your times 10 to the power of. So when it tells me an answer like 1.219326.311E17, I need to know that that E is not what I write down on the paper. I need to know that I would write out 1.219326.311 times 10 to the power of 17. Or I would move the decimal point 17 places to the right, depending on if my answer should be in standard or scientific notation. So yeah, so that's how this graphing calculator, and most graphing calculators, I bet, will display an answer like that. Here's what happens when I type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 into Google. So this is very similar to what your phone calculator app is going to show you. So we can see I typed the problem up here, and then here's our answer being displayed. So Google's displaying this answer as 1.219326.3, and then it has an E plus 17. So two things I'm noticing about the way the Google calculator is displaying this answer. The first thing I'm noticing is that on all of the other calculators, there were more digits that came after the 3. So calculators showing this answer, so Google is showing this answer with less precision than our scientific or graphing calculators. I think my phone calculator showed the extra digits, but this Google one is not. And then the second thing that's different is this E plus. So Google is using this E plus to represent the scientific notation of times 10 to the 17th power. Okay, so now here I have the app on my computer. This is the calculator app. And this one actually is not going to display the answer in scientific notation. So let's try it out. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press equals. And here we go. Now it's giving us that huge long decimal that the other calculators were just giving us in scientific notation. So what that means is that this calculator app on the computer is allowing more digits to be displayed than our handheld scientific calculators or the graphing calculator or even Google. So for example, if I multiplied this by a 1 with, I don't know, let's do like 10 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, nope, that's still not long enough. So let's give it more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. So once I get to a number large enough, even this calculator will do the E plus 37. So this one I had to add 20 extra digits for it to give this scientific notation. So depending on the calculator, like with Google, we saw it gave less precision. With this calculator app on the computer, it gives more precision than the calculators that we had. So it just depends on the calculator app. Everyone is going to use slightly different notation, and everyone is going to give you potentially slightly different answers. Okay, so just to wrap everything up and kind of summarize our observations here with the different calculators. On the left-hand side, I've put the variety of answers our calculators gave us. So some calculators gave us times 10 to the 17, star 10 to the 17. a teeny tiny times 10 to a 17. Some gave us a capital E, some gave us a lowercase e and a plus, and then some, like my computer's calculator, gave us the entire number fully written. So depending on the calculator you have, it's going to give you a slightly different answer. So if my calculator, if I needed to do this problem and the teacher was expecting the answer in standard form, I would take these numbers that were in scientific notation, whatever format my calculator was giving it to me, and I would convert it into standard form, which is what we've done here. So in order to do that, I'll just demo down here what I did. So I had that big long decimal, 219326311. And then I'm going to move that decimal point 17 places to the right. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So moved it all the way to the right. And now I'm going to add in commas. So that's how I got these answers here. Now you'll notice that not all of these numbers are the same. The first 4 rows are all going to be the same because those calculators gave this decimal portion all to the same length. So even though the scientific notation was different, the numbers that were in front of that times 10 or that E were all the same. Google stopped at the 3 instead of at the 11. So you'll notice my answer here in standard form is slightly different. This is because Google is basically rounding the answer to a different place than our calculators rounded to. Because even our calculators were rounding the answers. Because we can see here with the calculator on the computer that gave us the whole number, these aren't all zeros after the second one. There's actually more digits afterwards. So this is what I mean by this calculator giving more precision. Like in a scientific class, this is going to be referred to as significant digits. So in this case, for our purposes in this class, this is going to be sufficient up here. But just know that in truth, when I did that multiplication, these weren't all going to end up being zeros. They did end up being different digits. But our calculator doesn't have that much storage space, so it's going to round to the space that it has. So I think that that's going to wrap this up for this video. I hope it helped you to get to know your calculator a little bit better, and hopefully you have a magnificent day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now, everyone.